Hello there, World of Tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, WT Blitz, and in today's video, we are taking a look at the WT Auf E100. Some of you guys were skeptical that this tank was coming into the game. You said, no way would Wargaming bring the waffle in. Well, as I always say on the channel, the information I bring to you is always true. And the waffle is indeed very true, as I managed to catch this player using it in one of my battles today. In fact, a couple of times on live stream, I ran into the Project Marat and as well the WT Auf E100. The statistics of this tank have been released, and in today's video I'm going to be letting you know everything you're going to want to about this tank. So this is quite exciting news. As always, if you enjoy this type of content, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below, and let's get straight into it. We're going to start off with the statistics of this vehicle. Let's start off by taking a brief look at this vehicle's armor profile and what it has going for it. As we can see, it's not great on the armor. The upper plate is about 218 thick. You're probably going to be a little bit below the vehicle though, because it is an E100 hull, so more around 234 mils thick. That's alright, but let's be honest, 234 is more good for like tier 8. At tier 10, where the average heavy has 280 to 70 millimeters of AP pen, that is not a struggle at all. And if you're even angling the tank, it's still going to be pretty easy, because sure, the upper plate's hard to pen, but you got this massive lower plate that's only 150, and you got the tracks, which are also very easy to cut through. Oh yeah, and don't forget the massive turret, which is quite awful. This is what it looks like against high explosive ammo. The turret is 62 millimeters at best, 30 millimeters there, and 13 on the roof. Yeah, in general, this tank has like no armor. If you are loading high explosive, especially if you're in a 130 millimeter or a 150 that does 960 damage, yeah, you are going to be having an absolute field day shooting at this tank. It's not as weak as the 4005, especially on the hull. You can get bounces against inexperienced players if you bait your hull out, but in general, I just don't really see a world where people are going to struggle to pen you when the turret is literally dog turd. So just shoot at the turret, you're going to pen it every single time. Tracks are decently thick though, I will say that. At an angle like this, we can actually see the tracks are around 250, but even then, I mean, this really is not hard to cut through. It's not going to be a tricky tank to pen. So if you were worried that it had E100 in the title and it was going to feature a really good hull, it's just not the case. It's not like the E100 whatsoever. It's quite poor. With the armor aside, let's actually break into how this vehicle's statistics go on. We have calibrated shells, enhanced gun laying drive, and refined gun. We are running defense system, hit points, and we have our repair speeds, but that doesn't really make too much of a difference. We have camo net and engine accelerator. With all these things added together, what are we looking at? Well, 2,550 damage per minute. That's pretty mediocre DPM. In fact, that's close to the minnow, making this one of the lowest damage per minute tank destroyers in tier 10. Is that a problem? I don't really think it will be for a vehicle of this nature, because it's got a 5-shell clip and a 30-second reload. See, the tank does 340 damage per shot. And if you multiply 340 by 5, that means this tank deals 1,700 damage. Yeah, that's quite dangerous. But there are some things you should keep in mind. For example, with its 2-second intro clip, it's going to take 8 seconds in total to dump the full clip. And that might sound fast to you, but the 4005 already exists in the game, and the 4005 is 410 damage per shot with a 4-shell clip. That's 1,640 damage. Only a 60 difference between the 4005 and the WT Auf E100. And that means that the 4005, especially with shell reload boost, gets its damage out in about 5 seconds, way faster than the 8 seconds that this tank does. And again, for only a slight damage difference, and the 4005 has 1 less shell you have to worry about. So in that regard, the 4005 is kind of just better, especially when you realize the 4005 has 3,400 DPM, almost 1,000 more than the WT Auf E100. In general, the gun on this tank is nowhere near as good as the 4005's, which is surprising to me. Like, people are going to look at this gun and they're going to be like, wow, it's got a 5-shell clip and it does all this damage. And that's nice and all, but at the end of the day, I'd just rather drive a 4005. The size of the 4005 is about half of this tank, and it gets the same damage out faster, and not only that, but it does more damage per shot with pretty similar characteristics everywhere else. So in that situation, I don't know. Well, let's keep taking a look at what this vehicle has going for it. Penetration, very good. 302 millimeters on the standard is going to cut through literally everything like a hot knife. And if you do need to load gold, you got 380 mils of APCR. Yeah, this tank is quite incredible on pen. It actually wouldn't surprise me if people were running vents on this tank, which would increase your DPM by a bit and lower your reload and make your tank more accurate. But in general, I wouldn't recommend to run ventilation on any tank, especially when you have, such good pen like this vehicle. The HE is now something that I think is quite dangerous. It does 400 damage per shot, a 60 increase from the standard. And it has really good pen. It has 70 millimeters of penetration. That's quite good for such a low damage per shot. So with that in mind, I actually think that if you are able to get some lightly armored vehicles, let's say like a Waffenträger in front of you, or, I don't know, a Batchat, and you're managing to HE clip it, yeah, you can deal some insane damage numbers. But people are going to be dealing a lot of damage to you as well. This tank has 30 millimeters of turret armor, and as we can see in the Provisions tab, does not feature Spall armor. And what that means is that you are going to be taking the full brunt force of HE damage. Another advantage the 4005 has with Spall liner. So essentially, yeah, you're going to be getting nuked in this vehicle. Anything with a 150 millimeter is going to clap those cheeks with no issues whatsoever. I mean, literally a 268 is going to deal half of your health in one shot. A 183 with standard HE is going to deal 2/3 of your health in one shot because Wargaming buffed the damage. It does like 1400 now with a 183. So with that in mind, yeah, that's another downside for this vehicle. It also only features 6 degrees of gun depression, and before you get your hopes up and say, well, maybe over the sides it has more, nope, 6 degrees over the sides as well. I should also mention the vehicle does not feature a fully traversable turret, only going about 90 degrees to the left and to the right. We can see that right at the tops there. So it does not go any more. Yeah, it also doesn't feature too much gun elevation at only 14 degrees, so if you are above the tank, you might be able to get some really nasty shots out if you're on a map like Mines or something along that area. Camo, pretty bad on this tank. I confirmed with one of my friends who is testing that the camo values on this vehicle are the same as the Jagdpanzer E100. 50% when sitting still, 38% while on the move. So in general, pretty useless camo, and again, not really helping the tank's cause. In general, this tank just looks like a worse 4005. I mean, the gun's good, it's very accurate, and that's great, and it will be able to get out good damage. But at the end of the day, I just don't see a world where you would choose to drive the current Waffle when the 4005 exists. I know a lot of you were really excited, and some of you were probably very worried about the Waffenträger Auf E100. But if we make our way over to the 4005, we take a look at the gun handling statistics. It's got a 2.5 second intra clip, but look at the DPM, 3300, way more. Dispersion is very similar with the two when you're running refined gun. This tank has more standard pen, more premium penetration, and the same high explosive pen. This tank also has 8 degrees of gun depression instead of 6. It has a top speed of 40, and the 4005's camo values are much better, sitting at 65% while stationary and 50% while moving. So the Waffenträger Auf E100 has the same camo while sitting still as the 4005 has on move. 4005 is faster, it features obviously super speed boost and shell reload boost, and when you pair that with the fact that this tank does get Spall liner, really I just don't see a world where you would choose the Waffenträger over the 4005. I'm 100% confident the vehicle is going to be buffed in the future. Its current state is pretty mediocre. That's about all I can say, but the testers have not been enjoying the vehicle as of currently. So let me know what you guys think about the Waffenträger Auf E100 in the comments down below. Let me know if you're excited, and let me know what you think about it. I'm definitely excited. I think if Wargaming messes around with the stats a little bit, they could do it well. Personally, I would like to see 4 shells with 460 damage per shot, with a 3-second intra clip. That's what I would like to see. Keep Spall liner off it, and give it that level of damage output with maybe 2500 DPM. Because then it would be able to deal crazy damage, almost like 1900 in a clip. But the downside would be the fact that you have poor DPM over a 35+ second clip reload, and you're in a massive vehicle with no armor. Plus, with a 3-second intro clip, it would take you 9 seconds in total to get all of that damage out, which is quite a bit of time, and I feel like if you're sitting in front of a vehicle that long, you kind of deserve to get punished. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Either way, hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!